The brother has asked a question that the Quran clearly states. Allah says that Allah does not put on her a burden greater than a person can bear, and the sins are not inherited. So what about genetic diseases that, the children born have disease because of their parents, whether it be diabetes, whether it be congenital heart disease? Isn't it contradicting the Quran? In no way is it contradict the Quran. Just because someone inherits the disease of the parent, that doesn't mean it's a sin is inheriting. The sin is not inherited. The disease can be inherited. It is your misconception that the disease is a sin. Nowhere does it say that disease is a sin. This is a concept of the Hindus, that you are born with defects because you did some sin in the previous birth. This is totally un-Islamic. In Islam, the sin is not inherited, and Allah says that in the Quran, and that is the Islamic Sharia. So when a person has a genetic, if a person has a congenital disease, whether it be diabetes, whether it be congenital heart defect, it is not sin being inherited. The disease is inherited. And why is the disease inherited? Because Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Mulk, chapter number 16, verse number 2, Alladhi khalaqal mawta wal hayata. It's Allah who has created death and life to test which of you is good indeed. So this life is a test for the hereafter. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing people in different ways. Allah says in Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 155, surely we will test you with fear and hunger, with loss of life, with goods of what you have saved. And give glad tidings for a person who patiently perseveres. So Allah tests people with fear, with hunger, with loss of life, with disease, with poverty. But this doesn't mean that he is inheriting any sin. This is not a sin at all. Allah is testing people. So if a person has a congenital disease, maybe Allah is testing the parent. He wants to test the parent that do the parents yet have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. That child, nowhere does the Quran say that a person, if he is born with a disease, he will not go to Jannah. In fact, if a child dies, he is masoom, he goes to Jannah. The test is for the parents. So if a disease that is there, in no way is it a sin. Just because a person has the disease doesn't mean that he will go to hell, not at all. It's a test. Allah is testing that how does that child when he grows up, does he yet have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? So the disease is a test. Allah tests people with poverty, with wealth, with health, with disease. Allah tests different people in different ways. So this is only a test for that human being, or it may be a test for the parents, it may be a test for the relatives. In no way is it a sin being inherited. That's a misconception. Hope that answers the question.